Hello and welcome to another episode of the Canary podcast here at Before Magic. I'm your host, Maddie Gilbert. Just got home from China. Was working over there for 2 weeks, working on making one of my dreams come true. I want to do this podcast episode on the topics of making dreams come true. I think that's very important for us as magicians to make dreams come true and also realize what that means. I don't think we think about it enough. So I want to discuss it a little bit. So I had a dream back in 2013. I believe it was 2013. It may be before, maybe 2012, but I think it was 2013. And that dream was a literal dream that I had at night in my sleep of magic. And I don't often dream about magic, but I had this vivid, surreal dream of me sitting at a piano playing magic, playing piano. And as I was playing the piano, I was playing the song Putting on a Ritz by Irving Berlin. It's a very classic song. If you don't know it, just search Putting on the Ritz, and you will find it and you will recognize it because it really is a world famous song. And the dream was me sitting at this piano playing this beautiful song, and as I was playing, I remember, I don't know exactly what I saw, but I remember seeing cards floating and dancing on the actual piano cards. So this was obviously a crazy dream. I'm not too sure what the magic was, what the magic effect was, but I remember that it was part of this show, this show that was in my dream, and it was just incredible. And you move on with your life. You have all sorts of dreams and visions. You just move on. And so I didn't move on initially. I made a drawing of it, a sketch in my magic journal. I had a magic journal briefly, and I have many magic journals, but this one I gave away, which is why I say I had it briefly. And I gave it away because of this piece of artwork. So initially I made a sketch of the dream. I'll put an image in this podcast webpage. So if you want to see that, you can click on the actual episode and you'll see images of all this. But I made a sketch of it, and then I took a photo of that with my phone. And then I'm not too sure how much later, but a little bit time later, I went to an art supply store. I'm not used to drawing with or painting with acrylic ink, but I bought some acrylic ink and I painted the image. So it was the first page, the opening page of my journal. Just a really beautiful piece. I think it's a fabulous piece. I'm a big fan of my own artwork, to be honest. But I thought it was a fabulous piece, and I gave that away to a very dear friend of mine in 2013 as a gift to them, and I sort of just moved on from that. Fast forward to 2015, one of my friends, Kemen, who worked with me on this show, Ocean of Dreams, recently in China, he came to New York City, where I was living at the time, and I guess I had just moved to New York. I lived there briefly 2013, and then I moved back in 2015. And Gosh, how time flies. Just saying those numbers rattles my mind a little bit because I'm flooded back with so many memories. But it was 2015. He came to visit. I remember it was slightly cold outside. It must have been in October. It must have been this time of year. And we went out to, I think we ate at the Shake Shack at Madison Square Park. And he invited some of his friends who he knew. One worked for a private intelligence company. The other one was in finance, some business. Anyways, performed some magic for them, and then me and Kevin on our own sort of hung out and chatted, and I told him about this dream, and I knew Kevin from magic, but he also is a composer and runs a music school, and he's an incredible musician in his own right. And I told him about this dream of me playing the piano, and he said, yeah, you could do it. You could do it. And I didn't believe him. He's like, when you go back to Toronto or whatever, we'll set it up and you'll take lessons and you'll learn how to play the piano. I didn't believe him. I honestly just brushed it off, like, whatever. Like, I wanted to do it, but at the same time, I really didn't want to do it. I didn't want to tackle on this whole other skill set at that point in my life. I wasn't up to it. I wasn't up to the challenge. And to be honest, I didn't believe in it. I understood what he was saying, that he could compose and recompose different songs so that I could play them. I didn't believe it was possible. So, fast forward to this year. We never talked about it again. We never talked about it again. This year, he contacted me, or I think he contacted me, or it was one of my Chinese friends, but it may have been him. Somebody contacted me saying, we want you to come to China to do this magic show. And maybe at that point he came into the conversation and he said, you're also going to play piano. Or maybe he posed it as a question, how would you like to play piano in this show? And I was like, okay, I don't know how we're going to do that, but okay, let's do it. And he organized it. He was one of the guys behind the scenes on the show. I'm not too sure what his official role was, but he was very deeply involved in many aspects of the show. And I won't talk too much about the show. The show was an incredible show. Obviously, it's a very unique experience working on a show in another country. We were doing a show to 10,000 people, in a jam-packed arena. And it was a musical. We had a team of 30 dancers, and it was just a crazy experience. So, but I don't want to talk about that right now. I will at another time. It's just a whole thing onto itself. But he was very deeply involved behind the scenes and on stage as well. But long story short, I did not believe that I would be playing the piano on stage. But I said, whatever, okay, we'll do this show. It's going to be great, whatever we decide to do. I just didn't believe that I would be playing the piano. And there was we talked about it. I told him which version I liked. He's like, okay, this is what you're going to play. He sent me a video. I looked at it. I'm like, well, why am I watching this video? I can't do it. I just can't do it. Whatever. We end up meeting. I go to China. I fly to China. The flight is 14 and a half hours. I land in China. And I arrived to where we are. We go straight to the hotel. I drop off my bags at the hotel, and then I go to the performance warehouse, check it out a little bit. There's some dancers there, and the director, and a lot of people working on the show. And we stay there for a little bit, hang out, and then we go to the Shanghai Music Conservatory. And mind you, this is my first day in China. I believe it's my first day in China. It might have been my second day. I'm not too sure. Maybe my first day I just slept at the hotel. I'm not too sure what happened, but with the time zone difference, I'm not too sure. The days sort of blended, but I basically got to China and I went to the Shanghai Music Conservatory. That's what I remember. And we find a room that has a piano, and Kevin sits me down at the piano, and he shows me how to play this song, Putting on the Ritz. He's composed notes for me to play. Every single song can be composed in different ways. That's what composers do. They take a song or they create their own music, and they create a composition, which is the notes that will be played on a specific instrument. So he took Putting on the Ritz. I forget whose arrangement it was that he was basing it off of, but he reworked it basically for me. So I sat down, and to this day I don't know anything about playing the piano. I will take lessons, but he taught me how to hit the notes. You hit this note, then this note, dun 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 dun. That's the tune of Putting on a Ritz. Well, at least one part of it. The song has many parts. But that's where we started at. And he taught me how to hit the notes. And so I had to learn how to hit those notes. I was, putting both my arms on the keyboard and figuring out how do I hit these notes fast enough and move my arms fast enough so that I'm hitting these notes in rhythm. Because playing the piano is not just hitting the notes at the right time, it's holding down the keys for the right amount of time. The longer you hold down a key, the note makes a different pitch, and also it lasts a longer moment. So you can hold down. I mean, it's complicated, but basically you're not just hitting the keys. This is not like it's not like a video game where you just press a button and it goes. The longer you hold the key is, the sound, that note will resonate longer. And also the strength of which you hit the key will determine how loud it is and how long it will last, all those things. So I had to learn all this stuff and practice. We were there all day, and I was so tired. I actually took a nap. I actually just laid down on the floor of the Shanghai Music Conservatory while he was practicing, because he also played piano in the show. While he was practicing, I just literally laid down on the floor, put my backpack underneath my head, and slept. We were in a closed room. But we were just practicing. I got most of what I needed to play in the first 2 days. The second day, we had to go to a music recording studio. We were there, me, Kemen, a girl who worked behind the scenes called Yoki, and a tap dancer named Wind, who incredible, one of the best he's either one of the best or the best tap dancer in China, but he's really just a really fun guy. Really made good friends with him. He doesn't speak a word of English. I don't speak a word of Chinese, but we got along. um, Trying to think who else was there. We had a drummer, and I think it was just us and the drummer, and obviously the sound technicians. If I'm forgetting anyone, excuse me. I was also very tired. I also fell asleep in the recording studio. I literally just laid down and slept as they were practicing. And on that day, we recorded the music for the show. Now, the music of the show was recorded not because we were using pre-recorded music in the show, but because of the nature of rehearsals with the dancers and all the other people in the show. We wanted to have a perfect track so that they could listen to and they could play during rehearsals and do the work that they needed to do without everyone playing live music during the actual show. Some of the music in the show was licensed music from very famous artists, and that was pre-recorded. But some of the music in the show was live. There was live singing, live piano, live violin, live cello. There was live music in the show. But we need to have that pre-recorded track in order to time things out when we're running the show and to rehearse properly with all the tech people behind the scenes. So, long story short, we went to the recording studio, and I didn't record the recording that we were using for the rehearsals, just because my recording was not good enough. But we made a recording of me anyway, so what you will be able to hear is, and I'm leaving this as a link, we made a joke that I would sell it, that we went plastic. We didn't go gold, we didn't go platinum, we didn't go silver. We went plastic, the lowest level. And so my second day after first touching the piano, I was in the recording studio, recording my first single. So that is right here on the page. If you want to purchase it, I'm leaving it on the episode page. You can buy it. It's $1 for the song. 30 cents goes to Kevin, who is the producer. We sort of made a joke, so, every 30 cents made from the dollar goes to him. And I fully intend to honor that some way or another. I don't know if I'm going to PayPal him that 30 cents. It seems a very low amount to PayPal. We'll probably get killed on the fees, but I'll figure out some way to give him 30 cents the next time I see him for every song I sell. But if you do want to buy it, the link is there. And it sort of gives you a look behind the scenes of what we're doing in the show. You can listen to the song for free. I'll also leave that song here if you want to listen to it. It's mind you, what you're listening to is the second day after I first touched a piano. So it's not at all how I was playing in the show. And I don't mean to brag, I was honestly playing perfectly in the show, but what you're hearing is much less than perfect, because it was my second day. So anyways, we recorded all that stuff at the studio, and then everyone had their job to do. Everybody was working on different stuff. The dancers were working on their stuff. The tech people were working on their stuff. We had choreography, music, lighting, all that, stuff that goes into a show. And I wasn't too worried about my magic, to be honest, but I was worried about the piano. So we bought a a very cheap. I mean, it was too cheap. It was a piece of garbage. But we bought a keyboard, a digital keyboard. I don't even know where they found this. This was probably the worst keyboard. You would press the button. Some buttons wouldn't go down. Other buttons would go down too loosely. The sound wasn't right. But I would practice on that keyboard maybe 8 to 10 hours a day. I would just sit down. People thought maybe I was, I had a mental problem or something, because I would just sit at that piano and play the same song over and over and over again, just because I needed to rewire my brain to do something that I've never done before. My brain is wired to do certain things automatically, in terms of my physical movements, but I was not wired to play the piano. Now I can proudly say I'm wired to play one song on the piano. I'm wired. I'm primed. I'm ready. Put the piano in front of me. I can play it. Like, even though I haven't touched the piano in about 2 weeks, I can play perfectly. No problem. Just because it's literally wired into me. I don't have to think about it. But that's what I was doing. I was practicing 8 to 10 hours a day, and I practiced so much that the skin on my arms was actually ripping off, and I developed blisters, which was quite painful. So I had to take a day or two break off the piano because I couldn't do anything. I was touching things. I had bandages on, but I couldn't handle cards. Like, I couldn't, anything that I would touch, my skin would rip open. That's how sensitive my skin was, because I just practiced this way too much. But I needed that practice. There's a certain part of the song, I think it's the hardest part of the song. At least it was hard. I mean, there's different parts of the song that are hard, but one of the hardest parts of the song is at the end, where I don't know what the names of the keys are, so I'm not going to be able to describe this properly. But basically, one arm is on one side of the keyboard, and the other arm is on the other side of the keyboard, and I'm playing the same thing at the same time with both arms, but I can't look at both arms while I'm playing because they're separated and they're doing the exact same thing at the exact same moment. So I don't even have a break to look. So you have to train yourself to move in harmony without making a mistake. And that's like real muscle memory. I had to do that. I don't know how many times I did that, but I did that hours and hours and hours. Just to have that muscle memory, to be able to move my arms in the right distance at the right time and hit the right keys without looking, because and usually when you're playing the piano, I guess if you have hands, your fingers are on the keyboard, just like when you're typing and you automatically know where to go because your fingers stay on the keyboard and your mind automatically knows where to move. But when you don't have hands, your arms are just floating. And you sort of have to magically calculate the distance of how to jump from every key to key in the right order at the right distance without looking. It's pretty intense, but I got it down. I won't lie, it took me a few days in order to be able to do that properly. I actually only got it really well down probably 2 or 3 days before the show. But yeah, I got it. And we did the show. I performed magic in the show. It's a show about magic. We're not calling it a magic show, because the show really is not a magic show. There's a lot of magic in the show, but it's not a magic show. It's a show about magic. It's a show about dreams. So I perform card magic in the show, and after that, I go up to the audience and I have a monologue. And in my monologue, I forget the exact lines, but I say something along the lines of, every single one of my dreams I have been able to accomplish through magic. Every single one of my dreams, except for one. That dream is playing the piano. I've always wanted to play the piano, and it's always been impossible. I want to play it ever since I've been a kid, but I've always been told that it's not for me, that I can't do it. Tonight is a night. Oh, you see, I just screwed up the. I just screwed up the line. Tonight is a night. Oh man, what is the line? Line, please. Tonight is a night about making dreams come true. No, tonight. I forget what I say. There's a line there that's really nice at the end. Something about tonight is a night where we make dreams come true. And it's just a beautiful moment. I slowly step down from the platform where I am, and I walk to the piano, and there's just total tension. And I sit down at the piano, and my friend Kevin is also sitting at the piano. And he's playing Moonlight Sonata on the left side of the keyboard, which is the deeper sounding keys. I'm not too sure what the notes are called, but it's the deeper sounding keys, and I'm at the lighter tone keys. And as he's playing that, I'm breaking through that with the opening notes of Putting on a Ritz, which are familiar to people, but I'm playing them just the first three notes. Dun, 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 dun. And I'm just, I can't duplicate it with my mouth. I can't make those sounds, but it's really beautiful. It just cuts through, and that's sort of us freestyling. I sort of just time out when he's playing when to break through, and it was just beautiful. It's about, I want to say, I don't know how long. I'll have to check the video, really. But it's probably around 25 to 30 seconds of that, and then I finish the Moonlight Sonata, the last few notes. I just take over as we're scaling down the... I don't know the piano term, so when I say scaling down, don't quote me on that. I don't know what the heck I'm saying. But I'm moving down, finishing the song. After that, we clap hands. We do like a high five, and that signals the drums to start. So you hear the drums, and then I just go into the Putting on the Ritz, and the dancer's already at the piano while I'm playing Moonlight Sonata. When I first sit down at the piano and I'm playing Moonlight Sonata, we have it choreographed so the dancers are slowly approaching. They're not too sure what's going on, and then they're amazed as they see that I'm the one playing the piano. And then by the time we do the high five and Putting on the Ritz, they're in their dance, and we play through the first four parts of the song. I don't know what they're called. They're not called movements. I don't know what they're called. I'm not a music person, but we play through the first four parts of the song, and that's when the tap dancing comes in, and we let the tap dancer do his solo. He's fantastic. He does a solo dance for maybe in 30 seconds. Then all the dancers join in, and then I do a glide on the piano, going from the highest notes down, and then boom, directly into Putting on a Ritz, and we continue the song. It's just a beautiful, beautiful part of the show, and we had microphones on the show. I don't know how they mic'd it up, but they had these incredible microphones inside the piano, so you could hear everything that we're playing. And we also had the piano roof raised, and we had cameras both on me, so you could see me playing from a distance. There were many cameras, me playing from a distance, and then it would cut to my arms hitting the actual keys, and you would be able to see also the strings inside the actual piano. There's like the little foot or something that goes up and hits the string of the piano, which makes that string vibrate and make that note sound. Anyways, that was all captured on video, and we put on quite a show, and it was just incredible to me because everyone would ask me, oh my goodness, how long have you been playing the piano? And I would tell them, 2 weeks. I literally just learned, and they thought it was a joke. It's like one of the things in magic. We always get asked, like, how long have you been doing magic? Oh, I've been doing it for 2 days. I've been doing it for 2 weeks. And people laugh because they know you're lying. But I don't think people knew that I was telling the truth when I was saying I had only played the piano for 2 weeks because I had learned it so fast. Even my teacher, Kevin, he was saying that I was a genius. Like, nobody learns how to do this stuff so fast. He didn't think I would be able to do it. We had a plan B in case I couldn't do it, but I was doing it, and it was incredible. And we were in front of 10,000 people. I felt no pressure. I think if you see the photos, maybe I'm like hot a little bit. I can notice a little bit of glisten of sweat on me. But I didn't feel any pressure. All I felt was just happy to be there, and I was just concentrating on doing a good job. And one of the things they told me during the rehearsals was to smile, because I was never smiling. I was always focused on the keys. So during the show, I made an effort to really raise my head up and look at the cameras and look at the people and smile as I was playing, which was hard for me because, I'm only on 2 weeks to play the piano. I gotta look at what I'm doing. But I really did. There were a few moments when I did look up and smile, and so that was very hard for me from a technical standpoint. But I'm happy that I did it, and it was just so incredible for me. One of the dreams that I had, which was an actual dream, I've really wanted to play the piano for many years. One of my dream shows in my mind is to play Putting on a Ritz during the show, and we did it, and it's just so rare for me to make my own dreams come true. I'm used to making other people's dreams come true through magic, but it's very rare that I make my own dreams come true. So this was just different. And it kind of reminds me of a movie. There's a great movie called The Magician. I think the Swedish title is Ankaset. It's by Ingmar Bergman. I think the year that it was released was 1958. If it wasn't 1958, it was 1952, but I think it was 1958. I'm pretty good on years. But it was Ingmar Bergman from Sweden, and the movie is about a magician he's a traveling magician, and he doesn't believe in magic anymore. And that's what the plot of the movie is about, this magician who doesn't really believe in what he's doing. And you kind of have that feeling sometimes when you're doing magic. You know the secrets, you know how things work. What the audience experiences is radically different than what you experience. And this process, this journey was real magic for me. This was me actually realizing one of my dreams, and it just inspired me in so many ways. And I don't know, I just want to continue with it. I want to pursue more things that I've sort of let go of, not let go of any other reason than, I think people let go of reasons. I think like people let go of dreams for many reasons, and it has nothing to do with cowardice. It's just hard to chase dreams. Like, people have lives, people have different stuff going on. It's hard to it's really hard to chase every dream, and it was just one of those moments where it's just like I woke up and I'm like, wow, this is what I actually need to be doing. I need to be chasing these dreams and making them come true. The energy of that night was incredible. It was such a fun night on so many levels. I I usually, every show is different. Some shows you have ups and downs. This was a show that was just, it was a roller coaster of emotion before and after. But yeah, it's kind of hard for me to believe that I played the piano in front of so many people and that I was able to tell a story and do something that touched so many people. People were crying. Even during rehearsals, as I was telling the story and playing the piano, there were people in the show who were working behind the scenes that were crying. So it was just, I think, incredible for me to be able to provide that to people in the actual show, and it's something that I'm just really proud of. I'm just really proud of. So anyways, I want to make this to sort of just record the story, tell you guys about it. Yeah, I don't know, just share my experience. So I hope you guys enjoy it. This is a little different. There's no real advice in magic here, but I just want to share my experience of magic. It's very rare that I experience magic, so I want to share that. I don't know. I just wanted to share that with all of you. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. As I said, you can buy my first plastic single for $1, or you can listen to it for free. It's really not that good. It's the second day that I was practicing piano, but I wish I had a recording. We have a recording of the show. They filmed everything, so when I have that, I'll try to post it online if I'm allowed to, share that with you guys, and really thank you guys for listening and for supporting me and all that you do, and I look forward to speaking to you soon in the next episode of the Cage Canary. If you guys enjoy these podcasts, please share them, please send them out to your friends in magic. It really helps support what I'm doing. The more people that know about me, the more people that know about my projects and my products, really helps support and fund what I'm doing, because it is, it's just me. It's just me and the mic and you. So, uh, thank you for listening, and see you soon. Bye.